Super Battle Road. Now, if you don't know what Super Battle Road is, as a mid-level to beginner player, Super Battle Road is basically a series of hard content with a lot of different categories. I think there's about 67 categories in total for this actual hard content event. And today we're going to be talking about why it's very stale and very easy. Now, before we get into this video, do know that I do have a Discord server now called Dokkan Battlegrounds, and I hope you guys join it, and let's get right into the video. Now, before we actually deep dive into that Super Battle Road iceberg, there are 3 different categories that we do need to keep in mind as we are talking throughout this video. Number 1 is supportive items, the actual units, and categories. Now, the reason why we have these 3 topics right here is because this is what basically changed the whole Super Battle Road concept, because Super Battle Road was actually very hard until all of these 3 things happened. But nonetheless, this will always happen in any game. It's called power creep, and power creep has taken over Super Battle Road to the maximum, just to the max that you can go to be honest. So unfortunately, that's just how it rolls. But let's roll the clip. Now, there was a lot of diversity when all these items are out, because there was just so much you can do in the run that you were doing. Now, I'm going to tell you the 4 most used items in the whole game that everyone was using back when SBR actually came out. The first one will be Princess Snake, Android 8, Awis, and the Icarus. Those 4 right there will always get you the run that you need completed, because they are just so damn OP. Now, we have the rat one right here, which gives you 40% attack down and defense down for 2 turns on every enemy that is actually present on the battlefield, which is very good. Another item that was also used a lot was the Ghost Usher. Ghost Usher was very good when it came out, because basically you're able to get no attacks at all for the whole turn. So say you had a weak unit on the rotation, you don't want to die, you could just pop a whole Ghost Usher and all the enemy's attacks are gone. Another very highly used one, but not as effective as all the other 4 items that we use a lot nowadays, is the King Yama one, where it gives you 50% damage reduction for 1 turn. Although that is very good, it's just not as good as the Whis one, where we have 40% damage reduction for 2 turns. So that would never compete to that. That's why items are so damn OP. All I have to say why SBR has fallen off is because of one word: power creep. There's so many new units that have came out, or just units that have easy aid, even if they're not LRs or DFEs. They can be DFEs that have easy aid and LRs that have easy aid. But nonetheless, all of those easy aid, DFEs, and LRs, they automatically just destroy this event to oblivion. And even to this day, new units that are out right now with the 200% leader skill just obliterate this whole event. Not to mention that we do have 4 items to keep us alive so easily, like things like damage reduction, extra defense, and a whole turn where you don't get attacked at all. So SBR really just falling off the barrel to the point where you don't even have to try that much, because the units are so damn powerful. Like, for instance, we have Inzamasu right here. If you were to run him on Future Saga SBR, he will literally just cake the whole thing up, because it's just so easy now, because we have 200% leader skills. Now, power creep is always going to be relevant in every game, because that's just how it is. That's the basic of life too, and that's just how the game is. There's always going to be better units. Now, if we're talking back then when SBR first released, I'm not too sure what units were used the most when it first released, because there were different categories. But that's the reason why SBR is so ridiculously easy, because the new units are ridiculously powerful. There are a lot of units that you can use on a lot of different teams and just merge units into different teams. That's what I love about SBR and its mechanics, because every SBR, you can have one unit that you want to use on a different SBR, but they're on a different team. That is like the only unfortunate part, but it can be the same thing on the opposite thing. You can have a team and you thought that that unit wouldn't be on there, but that unit is on there. So there's a lot of diversity and a lot of just very big variety of categories on there that I love so much. That's the big part of SBR. There's literally 67 SBR missions to do, which is just mind-blowing. So you have, well, actually, I didn't even include the monotype ones. You have to do one AGL stage where you just run all AGL, STR, int, physical, and tech. That is so cool how they did that. I love that. One thing to keep note is that Dokkan actually lowers difficulty for lower end teams. So what you're about to see here on my screen is where I go to Peppy Girls. And the reasons why I go to Peppy Girls is because when Videl first came out, she was a 170 lead to Peppy Girls, which was really good back then because Peppy Girls only had int Ribian for 120%. And I think int Ribian was very good back then for that because Peppy Girls was very broken back then. It was actually considered the best team in the game. I mean, it wasn't the best team in the game, but it was close. And when Videl came out, it was pretty much the best team in the game. But they actually lowered difficulty on SBRs because other categories also had their difficulty lowered because they just didn't have a lot of units. For instance, we have DB Saga, Turtle School, and I think Super Saiyan 3. Those are categories that have gotten their difficulty lowered because they just didn't have a lot of units and they weren't very powerful. This is going to be the end of the video. I really appreciate those that actually watch my dedicated hard videos that I work through. It really makes me happy and I just love making content. I know I don't upload a lot, but when I do, just know I love doing it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the edits, and please subscribe and like. You guys are almost about to get me to 1K subscribers. Let's do it. Appreciate you guys, and I see you guys in the next one. Peace.